In learning, there are four main needs that a student has to have, and that is a diverse vocabulary, an appreciation for semantics. They have to have a good grasp of the mechanics of the language, and they have to be familiar with phonics and how they work together to form words. The reading program that I have analyzed is called Read Naturally. It has been published several times throughout 1997 to 2008 by the company Read Naturally Incorporated out of St. Paul, Minnesota. I personally have never used this program. One of the teachers in the school that I work for uses this program. She uses this program with struggling readers that are generally in middle school to high school level. And the way this program is designed to use is the student first picks out a story and that's for their age level or for their they do a placement test first, and they read a story that's at their placement level. And they read it without any practice. They just read it out loud. It's timed, and their errors are recorded. And then they practice reading that same story out loud with a CD recording of the story. So they're hearing the story as they're reading it. So they're fixing their mistakes as they're learning to read the story. While they're practicing this story, they'll practice it 2 to 3 to sometimes 4 times. There are also vocabulary words that go with each story, and they will learn those vocabulary words and what they mean, especially in the context of that particular story. And they'll also have comprehension questions at the end of the story. They do the comprehension questions each time. When they do the initial reading without any practice, it's called a cold timing. They've never practiced it. They're timed, and their errors are recorded. After they've practiced it several times, they've went over the vocabulary, they've went over comprehension questions, then they do what is called a hot time. And their progress is then recorded on a graph so that they can see how much they have progressed in that particular story, and then they move on to the next story. Like I said, I've never used this program. I teach mathematics. The teacher that uses this program has been using it for several years, and she has found that students make a lot of progress with this program. She has used this program with a variety of students, ranging from ESL or ELL students to students that simply did not have the foundation of a good reading skill level when they came into our school. In looking through the program, one thing that I find really interesting is that the students get to pick out their stories, and the stories are interesting. I think that's really important because a student needs to be interested in what they are reading about so that they have a desire to read about it. And I also like the idea that the progress is recorded within the story. I also, in my research, I have found that repetition helps students learn how to read and helps to build stronger neuron connections. So reading that story over and over helps to build those connections and helps to put the word from paper to the sound in their ears, to the sound out of their mouth. And I feel like that is very helpful to them also.